Hi, this is Johnson Town Manager Paul Cohen, and you're watching Math with Mathew.
It's Math with Mathew, so go kick off your shoes. Increase your worldview, it's Math with Mathew.
On this episode, we welcome Matt Witte, Eduardo Beato, and Lisa Goldsmith. And now your host, Chelsea's Mathematics Department Coordinator, Dr. Mathew Bayronabon.
X equals 3.
Here we go, Season 3 of Math with Mathew. On our first episode today, we are focusing on the high school math. Now, we have started to make some music videos on Math with Mathew last year. We started off with what is the value of pi on our middle school show.
No one knows what is the value of pi.
And then on our elementary show, we created Polygons Are Awesome. And now this on our high school show, we are proud to present the premiere of the new video, SOHCAHTOA Style. Let's take a look.
Excuse me, math teachers? Got the results of the recent math assessment. Did really well. Really well. Really proud of you guys. Did have a question though. Noticed some issues with right triangles. Wondering if you can put your heads together and maybe come up with some new ways of teaching things about trigonometry.
Alright, so we're gonna work on trig functions. What can we do? I don't know. Yeah, right. Triangles.
Right.
What are you gonna do?
So
It's Williams back on the track once again. Here to make sure trig is a topic you understand. Right triangles are the key to the task at hand. Here are my friends to help you comprehend.
Sine is opposite over hypotenuse. It's a ratio of the sides. Cosine's adjacent over hypotenuse. It's a ratio of the sides. Tangent's opposite over adjacent. It's also a ratio of the sides. SOHCAHTOA style.
SOHCAHTOA style. SOHCAHTOA style. SOHCAHTOA style. SOHCAHTOA style.
Hey, right triangle.
SOHCAHTOA style.
Hey, right triangle.
SOHCAHTOA
Sine
style.
is opposite over hypotenuse. It's a ratio of the sides. Cosine's adjacent over hypotenuse. It's a ratio of the sides. Tangent's opposite over adjacent. It's also a ratio of the sides. SOHCAHTOA style.
SOHCAHTOA style. SOHCAHTOA style. SOHCAHTOA style. SOHCAHTOA style.
So what do you think, Principal Caleri? Do we have trig functions covered now? I think we do. Thank you to everybody that participated on that SOHCAHTOA video. We got Mr. Tom Peterson, Mr. Lucas Muratore, Mr. Dan Williams, Mr. Zach McIntyre, and the very talented Miss Kate Burgess. Now, on this episode of Math with Mathew, we are first going to learn about our IXL program within the math department. Next, we're going to meet one of our new math teachers at Chelmsford High School. And we finished by learning about our new math program at the high school level, Big Ideas Math. But first, let's meet all of the teachers within the math department. All right, let's get started by meeting our first guest. We're going to learn about the IXL program within the math department at Chelmsford High School, and we welcome on the show Mr. Matt Witte. Welcome to the show, sir.
Thank you for having me. Cold season.
Mr. Witte, this is your third year at Chelmsford High School. How has it been so far?
It's been great. It's every year's gotten a little bit easier. I'm starting to learn where things are in the building other than just where the math wing is. Everyone's been very welcoming, and it's been a great transition.
And as a teacher, you really use technology to help encourage student learning. Can you talk a little bit about some of the technology you use in the classroom?
Sure. We're lucky enough to have 3 iPad carts in the math department, and we've been incorporating new apps every year. We're using the Dropbox folders to store notes and trying to get to a paperless classroom as much as possible. And just experimenting with new math apps every year, and the students have really taken into it.
And one of those apps or programs you actually were responsible for bringing to our math department, and that's the IXL program. Can you tell us a little bit about IXL?
Sure. I found it on boston.com when I was reading the Chelmsford Sports section of Success, and I clicked on the icon, and I was pretty intrigued by it. And basically what it is it's problem sets that we have the students do that are based on the Common Core and the Massachusetts frameworks. And students basically work the problem sets, try to get a score of 70, but we encourage to try to get a top score of 100.
And originally, it was something that you just piloted in your classroom, and then the other teachers within the department saw it, and they really wanted to get it as well. Can you tell me a little bit about what some of the benefits are to using the program?
Yes, the students basically have gotten away from some of the doing the worksheets where they can work through a worksheet, we can check it, but the problem is sometimes they'll work on a worksheet and end up doing it incorrectly. The IXL is not going to allow that, because if a student gets a problem wrong, it will give them a detailed explanation what they did wrong before they can move forward. So it basically puts good pressure on them to really want to get the problems right.
And how do you incorporate using IXL into your lessons and your instruction within mathematics?
Well, some teachers have used the computer labs and used it for instruction instead of note-taking to try to get into that. We've used it for enrichment. We've used it during the summer for summer programs, for students that need a little bit more work. Some teachers have used it for homework. I've actually used it for tests and quizzes and other assessments.
And now let's talk about the students a little bit. What has been their feedback to using this program to help them learn some of these high school concepts?
The feedback's been very positive. The students definitely like working with the technology. It's really moved in that direction that I've seen in the last decade or so, that we're getting away from paper, getting into using phones and computer labs and iPads, and the students have really taken into it. They enjoy it.
And they found success where they're learning the concepts better using this IXL program and other technology?
Yes, because they really cannot get a bunch wrong and guess. It's not multiple choice for all of them. It has some real great interactive activities such as graphing, where they actually have to be precise with their work.
Great. Well, I want to thank you for bringing the IXL program to us within Chelmsford High School, and also you've done a lot of great work behind the scenes, setting up the accounts for teachers, troubleshooting whenever there's been issues with it, and all of the teachers, myself included, really appreciate the work that you've done with the IXL, so thank you for that.
Thank you for having me.
All right, what we're going to do now is go watch a short promo for 3 new TV shows coming up this fall. And when we come back, we're going to meet one of Chelmsford High School's new math teachers. We just finished our 2nd season of Math with Matthew, and what a great season it was. Right now, we're working on our 3rd season featuring all
Wait just a minute, Matthew. Next year, be sure to catch The Right Stuff featuring Guidance K-12. While you're at it, also take a look at my friend Katie's show for the Wellness Department and Maryland in Business. Catch it here on CTM.
Welcome back. Needless to say, after seeing that promo, we can tell that Mr. Wright is excited about his new show. I'm looking forward to it as well. Okay, let's get started by meeting our next guest, the newest member of the math department faculty at Chelmsford High School. Let's introduce Mr. Eduardo Beato. Sanitizer?
Nah.
All right, well, welcome to the show, Eduardo. Welcome to the department. Thanks so much for coming on the show today.
Thank you for having me today. I feel honored.
It is an honor to be on the show. I appreciate you knowing that. So, this is your first year at Chelmsford High School. You've been here now for a couple of months. Tell me a little bit about your experience so far.
Well, I've survived so far, so I think I'm doing pretty good. The kids are great. We have been able to build some awesome relationships, getting into some good topics, and it's been going really well so far.
And what courses are you teaching this year?
I'm teaching Algebra 1 H2 as well as Advanced Algebra.
Excellent. So you're an algebra guy for this year, teaching all your courses in algebra.
Algebra all the way.
Excellent, excellent. So now tell us a little bit about the program that you came from that brought you to Chelmsford High School.
Well, I graduated from UMass Lowell with a bachelor's degree in mathematics, but I also was part of the U-Teach program at UMass Lowell. It is a new teaching program that allows students to get their bachelor's degree in whatever STEM field they decide to, but as well as getting their initial teacher's license in Massachusetts.
And the Chelmsford Public Schools has been a big proponent of the U-Teach program because we've had quite a few of the interns come to our schools at the middle and elementary level and have performed some teaching there. And in fact, we have a video clip from last year with some of the U-Teach teachers. Let's take a look and see some of the U-Teach teachers in action, and when we come back, we're going to learn a little bit more about Eduardo.
What do you know about air?
Welcome back. Eduardo was the first teacher to be hired from the U-Teach program at UMass Lowell, and he's back with us to learn more about him as well as his teaching. Welcome back, Eduardo.
Thank you, Matthew.
So tell me a little bit about your philosophy of teaching, of how you're able to reach all the different learners in your classroom.
Right. Well, I definitely believe and have experienced that all students have different ways in which they learn, and therefore all the students need to be accommodated for it. I as a teacher, need to be able to reach all of my students, whether that means using different techniques, different approaches to teaching these students. It is my job to make sure that they all have the same chance of succeeding in their math careers.
And in my observation of your classes so far, I've seen that you've been able to differentiate different ways for the different learners. So can you tell me some of these strategies that you use in your day-to-day instruction to help meet the needs of all the students?
Right, well, during a lesson or during one of my classes, I try to do different activities throughout the entire class to make sure that I'm doing all types of teaching. I'll start off the class where the students are working individually with a warm-up problem, and they get a chance to practice some of the things that we've been going over in the past few days. And then maybe during class we will do some group work where the students get together in small groups, 2 or 3, and they get a chance to share their ideas. Sometimes I like to let the students take the notes that they've worked on, and they'll get a chance to come up to the board and maybe teach the class or share what they've learned or share some experiences. So I try to get the kids working together, individually, making sure that I'm doing all different types of things to accommodate all the different types of learners.
Well, you've done an excellent job so far. We're lucky to have you within the department, and thank you so much for coming on the show today.
Thank you, thank you.
What we're going to do is we're going to take a look at a mathematical problem presented by Chelmsford High School math teacher's own Miss Silk. And if you know the answer to this problem, you can tweet me at Dr_Bayranovan, and you'll be able to win a prize based on that. Let's take a look at Miss Silk's problem.
All right, I am Miss Silk, an algebra teacher at Chelmsford High School, and I have a problem for you to try out. A farmer has 50 chickens that live in 5 different chicken coops on her farm, and all 5 coops have a different number of chickens living in them. Coops A and B have a total of 21 chickens. Coops B and C have a total of 20 chickens. Coops C and D have a total of 21 chickens. And finally, coops D and E have a total of 27 chickens. So you want to figure out how many chickens live in each coop. Try it out for yourself and then tweet your solutions to Dr. Bayranovan.
Welcome back. So if you know the answer to the question posed by Ms. Silk, send me a tweet, and we're going to be selecting one winner of all the correct answers who will be winning a prize for solving that problem. And now we transition to learning about the new curriculum that we have begun using at Chelmsford High School within the math department. It's the Big Ideas program. And straight from Fort Lauderdale, Florida, we have one of the consultants from the program here to meet with us. Let's welcome Miss Lisa Goldsmith. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Thanks so much for coming on.
Thanks for having me.
Great. So can you tell us an introduction about the Big Ideas program, and in particular the high school one?
Sure. Well, the Big Ideas program is a new program written by Ron Lorson and Lori Boswell. Continues from our middle school program. We're real excited about it. And one of the things that's really nice about it is it's an actual balanced approach program. So it really gets the students actively engaged, giving them some conceptual understanding, and then goes into the procedural fluency to prepare them for future math courses.
So in regards to this balanced approach,
Yes.
it's kind of an equal weighting of that conceptual understanding of the concept in addition to that procedural knowledge of how to do the operations.
Exactly.
How does the program really adjust to each of those 2 different important concepts within the Common Core?
Well, one of the things about Common Core, besides the content that teachers are being asked to make sure they go over with students, is really a pedagogical change in how we go about teaching mathematics. So what the program does is it allows the students to go ahead and discover and start to build some understanding of why certain math procedures are working or how they're working, kind of to give them a hook to understand before they go into the algorithms and the rules and so on and so forth.
So within the Chelmsford Public Schools, we've been using the Big Ideas middle school program for a couple of years.
Right.
How is this program, the high school one, similar, and how is it different from the middle school program?
The high school program is similar in the fact that, again, just like our middle school program, the middle school program starts off with the students working on activities and then getting into that procedural fluency. Whereas in the high school program, the students start off with similar type activities. We refer to them as explorations so that the terminology is a little more adult-like, but allowing those students to work together in cooperative groups, the teacher being more of a facilitator, and giving students an opportunity to discuss the math and start to conjecture before they get into the procedural fluency.
So can you run me through a typical lesson of what a Big Ideas lesson would look like? You talked a little bit about that, but what would be a lesson for a Big Ideas program?
So a lesson for a Big Ideas program would begin with some type of warm-up activity or bell ringer, which would go over some previous skills that maybe the students will be needing to use in order to master that section. And then it would move on to some explorations, where what we say is the students should be working in some cooperative groups, and either they would be, let's say, in algebra graphing or maybe in geometry, using some dynamic software like GeoGebra to actually explore and see what's happening before they actually get into the core concepts and the vocabulary words and the stepped out examples.
And can you tell me a little bit about how this program builds from grade level to grade level?
Absolutely. That's one of the things that actually Ron and Lori are really, really proud of, because what they've done with the program is they've embedded previous grade levels content throughout. So what's really nice for you here in Chelmsford is that your students in middle school are using a program that really speaks to the fundamentals of arithmetic, which actually means that every integer could actually be brought down to its prime. And then it moves into our high school program, which really goes over the fundamentals of algebra, that every function actually could be factored down to a linear function. So the transition for your students going from that middle school program where they're going to be used to those activities and having that rich math discourse is going to flow right into the high school program and then continue on as the students go into those upper level math courses and off to college.
And this is one of the few programs that was actually designed after the Common Core was created.
Absolutely.
So it was really tailored to that as opposed to a patchwork curriculum that tries to fill in the gaps.
Absolutely. That's why it's brand new. And that's one of the things Ron has actually said, that he feels that it's revolutionary. He feels that it's the best program out there. And what's really nice is that he brings such a level of math expertise to the table. And then Lori Boswell, still being a teacher herself, brings such a level of teaching experience to the table. So together, they're really proud of the fact that they've sat down and put out this program there that really, as you said, is not something that's been there and actually been realigned or adjusted. Has really been written to the letter of what Common Core is asking for.
So in Chelmsford, we use this program for all our different levels, the same program. Can you talk a little bit about how the teachers are able to differentiate for the high achieving students, and then also what support systems are in place for those students who struggle with mathematics?
Absolutely. Well, what's really nice with the program is when a teacher looks at the program, one of the things we tell teachers, whether it be at the middle school level or the high school level, is that obviously you need to assess how your students are doing, see where they're at. And if you're going through an activity or an exploration, you're able to facilitate that learning. So if the students are struggling perhaps, and you need to maybe do it more as a group and kind of gently guide the students where they need to be, or if you really need to differentiate, on the website the teachers have access to actually some really rich differentiated lesson activities that they can use in addition to or in lieu of. So there's a lot of rich DI components for RTI that are there for the teachers, as well as for the students and the parents. When they get home, a lot of times we hear parents calling teachers and saying, my child doesn't understand this, I don't know what to do, I don't remember geometry, I never took Algebra 2, what do I do? So online there's a lot of resources for the parents as well. Things like the game closet, which actually becomes a fun activity at home, or lesson tutorials for every one of the actual examples for the students so that they have an actual math tutor at home with them on a regular basis. And then we also have a handbook that goes over all the skills that students really need to be proficient in order to continue building on that math foundation.
So it sounds like there are quite a few support systems for those students who struggle, and also for parents to access to help with their students. How do they access these programs?
All of these programs all of the components are available at bigideasmath.com. So as a teacher, when they have their login, which they've already hopefully been using, they would log in and be able to access any of those components, as well as the students all will have their access. So they can log in as well, and once they go there and they actually choose the book they're working out of, all of those items are there for them to access as well.
That's great.
Yes.
Well, there's been a nice response to that Big Ideas program. We've had it in the middle school for a couple of years, and so far this year we've started with our Algebra 1 for our freshman classes, and there's been good results for it.
Excellent.
And we look forward later on today to having you work with the teachers to help deepen their knowledge of the Big Ideas program.
I'm looking forward to it.
Excellent. Thank you.
Thank you.
So we'll be right back to close the show out after we take a look at some of the programming work done in Miss Kieran Bell's Programming in C class. We'll be right back. you so much for watching our show today. Thank you to all our guests, Mr. Witte, Mr. Beato, Miss Goldsmith. Thank you to Pete Padula, Tom Peterson, and everybody within Chelmsford Telemedia. We'll see you again real soon. Goodbye.
Excuse me, math teachers? Got the results of the recent math assessment. Did really well. Really well. Really proud of you guys. Did have a question though. Noticed some issues with right triangles. Wondering if you can put your heads together and maybe come up with some new ways of teaching things about trigonometry.
Alright, so we're gonna work on trig functions. What can we do? I don't know. Yeah,
Right,
try.
right.
What are you gonna do?
So
It's Williams back on the track once again. Here to make sure trig is a topic you understand. Right triangles are the key to the task at hand. Here are my friends to help you comprehend.
Sine is opposite over hypotenuse. It's a ratio of the sides. Cosine's adjacent over hypotenuse. It's a ratio of the sides. Tangent's opposite over adjacent. It's also a ratio of the sides. Sokotoa style.
Sokotoa style. Sokotoa style. Sokotoa style. Sokotoa style.
Hey, right triangle.
Sokotoa style.
Hey, right triangle.
Sokotoa
Sine
style.
is opposite over hypotenuse. It's a ratio of the sides. Cosine's adjacent over hypotenuse. It's a ratio of the sides. Tangent's opposite over adjacent. It's also a ratio of the sides. Sokotoa style.
Sokotoa style. Sokotoa style. Sokotoa style.